Daniel, with all of my guests, I always ask the same question to get us going. And that question is, where does your own journey, where does your educational journey begin?
Great question. So, my educational journey really begins at a small K-12 charter school institution. I started at that school when I was in fifth grade. And while it was a really nurturing and loving environment, and that school really changed my life. Without that school, I wouldn't have ever started this business and I wouldn't, sort of be who I am today. But it wasn't an academically challenging community. There was little resources around college admissions, and while our school counselors were nurturing and driven, they had massive student caseloads and honestly didn't have the information to really thoughtfully support us through this process. And so while by the time I graduated high school, top 10% of my class, really academically ambitious, and the kind of kid who really would have benefited from being challenged and being steered to maybe more competitive academic environments or just steered towards being more intentional really in this college admissions process, that never really happened. And when I got into college, I sort of realized that the school I was at maybe wasn't the best fit for me. And I started to learn about a lot of other opportunities around different schools. The fact that students go out of state, the fact that there's this thing called the Ivy League and merit based scholarship and Questbridge and Posse scholarship. And when I started to discover that, sort of that learning became the beginning of my story. And I desperately wanted to create those sets of opportunities and those sets of resources and eventually the knowledge and strategy for other students to navigate this process. And after that experience, the beginning of Prepper really started by supporting students from my own community to navigate this process. And the first student that we worked with got a full ride to Stanford, Harvard, and Yale. And so that experience really taught us that with the right information, the right resources, all sorts of students can be really competitive in this process.